You'd be a bard. We all would be bards in real life.
Yes, that's weird. It's weird to think of myself as the quintessential sexy bard.
Nobody said that. Welcome to Bardicaggravation, people. That's Brandon and Rick.
Hey,
You know me.
that's Kent.
It is. So we're continuing the class stuff because, listen, the DC-20, which we are a DC-20 channel, let's face it, the 09 beta is coming out any day. So we're treading water till then. Just kidding. Just kidding. This is a very important video. It's a life changer. This video. We're talking about the classes and class concepts, character concepts, using classes to create your character concept, class concept, character. Today's about the bard. The bard. So we're gonna give you bard concepts, things to think about when if you decide you want to play a bard or why you might want to play a bard. We're gonna talk about those things because I think the bard gets misconstrued very often.
It's a bad rap, doesn't it?
We're gonna, as always, we're gonna show you the stereotypical bard, which I think Rick is doing today, the horny bard, that whole thing.
Bard.
But the bard is such a blanket thing. Again, this jack of all trades. It's hard to peg down a bard.
Covers so much.
So you can pretty much take any character concept and make it a bard, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like the goat. It's like a garbage disposal of RPG characters. I don't know what I want to play. Well, then just play a bard, and then it'll work itself out.
You'll get
by
some
level
spells,
3.
You'll get some hitting. You'll be fine.
Yeah. They got a little bit of everything. They can fight. They can cast magic. They can do all kinds of stuff outside of combat.
They can open doors. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
You're saying bards aren't that cool.
That I think that was the total opposite of what I was saying. They can do anything.
They're very cool.
They're the Lizard King.
I don't know what that means.
A bard, it's an entertainer, right? It's a storyteller. Typically in history, that's what a bard was. They were storytellers, entertainers, raconteurs. They would tell stories or recite poetry or play music for the masses or for a town or for nobility. A jester could be a bard, a clown. They were a necessary, very necessary part of society.
Like YouTube creators.
So that's what a bard is basically. Again, there's so much to a bard. It's hard to encapsulate, especially when it comes to an RPG. And a lot of these games, even in D&D, which is usually just not customizable, you have a couple of subclasses that can fight and pretty well. That College of Swords bard, I got some mileage out of that. That was fun. And in DC-20, you can make any kind of hybrid thing you want to. I'm basically playing a bard in our campaign that you're going to see one day soon, very soon. But I'm using the Spellblade as my class mechanic. He's not calling himself a Spellblade. You've seen us talk about this in previous videos. Just because you're playing the bard class, you're using that mechanic, doesn't mean your character has to be a bard. You'll see as we go along here. They're social. Generally, if you want to play a social character, a bard is a good choice. Doesn't have to be, but it lends itself to that pretty nicely in any of these games. All right, so without further ado.
It's a bard thing. Ado.
We start with the stereotype because that's how we do things here. We like patterns. We're creatures of something.
My bard's name is Elias. Elias Moonstone. This build was inspired last time I was at your house, Kent. And we were watching our Christmas special. We all hung out and watched it and talked about it. And I was riding home in the car and I'm all smiling. I just turned on the radio, did not plug in my phone. And this song came on the radio.
Song inspiration. I like it.
So I got inspired by a song. It goes like this. Some people call me the space cowboy.
Yeah.
Some people call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice. It's inspired by The Joker by Steve Miller Band.
Yes.
So it sounded like it was a song about a typical bard who just goes from place to place playing music. Elias here was raised by his mother, never knew his father. When he was 13 years old, he just took off and left and took his guitar with him and just started going around playing everywhere he could play. He was known for going to towns and sleeping with wives and getting run out of town.
Ooh.
He's that type of person.
So
yes.
Better than Leroy Brown.
So one day, Elias actually fell for one of these wives.
Oh.
Yeah, and he almost died because the husband literally beat the crap out of him, tried to tar and feather him, and just hang him up.
And I don't feel bad for him at all. That's what you get.
He got away, But after that, he became an adventurer. He started using his talents to help people out, and he's just a wanderer, the type of person who just knows about everything, and he's just a singer. What he doesn't know is he's half fiend-born. So he did not know his father. And this is a loophole I like to leave in my backstory. He doesn't know his father. He has all these charming skills that you get in DC-20. Like when you're DC-20 and you play a fiend-born, you get to pick from this chart. So he picked the one like silver-tongued, where he's able to talk to people, and charming gaze, where he didn't know how he was able to do this, but he has this fiend-born blood in him.
Ooh.
So now he's looking for why he is the way he is and what he is.
Deep. I like it.
That's a part of a stereotypical bard.
Or
Is
he sleeps.
Their magic kind of has a charming effect. You can kind of control people a little bit, influence them. This silver tongue. You can talk them into things they might not normally want to do.
It's all about his performance and getting command on people and sleep, and those are the spells he's going to delve into, right? Things to get people to do what he wants.
Yeah, it's stereotypical bard. So
yeah, I base it off a song.
See, I like that. That's great. You can't base an entire character off of one song, one inspirational song. If you don't know, I don't know a character, listen to some music.
Yeah, pick it out.
It's a great way to come up with character concept. A song. It's great.
Sounds like there was 2 songs, though. So there was the original one by, the Steve Miller Band. Then you became the Wanderer, where you roam around.
Ginny D makes a soundtrack for her characters.
Oh, there you go.
And I think that's a great idea. I don't think there's anything more inspirational than music for most people. If you're deaf, not you.
Yeah,
wow.
Fuck you, deaf.
I'm not saying anything you don't know.
Well, that's my stereotypical bard.
I like it.
So, what else do you guys got for me? I want to hear something different.
My bard's named Hofer.
Oh no, did he talk like that?
I'm from the deep south, if you know what I mean.
Squeal for me.
Squeal for me. I want to get down there and...
We're very sorry.
Oh my god. Any of our southern viewers, we don't feel the same way.
We love the Southerners.
This has gotten off the rails.
We don't live in the South because we're civilized.
Tell us about Hofer. What's Hofer?
Hofer is not your stereotypical bard.
Right. Well, he better not be, because that's what Rick just did.
Just did it.
So for Hofer, he's high in charisma. So you can use that to intimidate. You can use that to influence.
Persuade.
Persuasion, yeah.
So you can
deceive.
Deceive. You can do it however you want. So if he wants to be a sand person, I don't know what that word is.
A sand person. Like from Star Wars?
A sand
Tusken
person.
Raider? He's a sand person. If he wants to be a sand person, he can be a sand person.
Shut up. No, he's not
He's
a
gonna
sand
tell me
person.
he's not.
He's a dark edgelord. He's not a sand person.
They were edgelords.
He started off as an entertainer to this very distinguished lord, okay?
How did he get that job? As he started out. You got to work him up to that crap.
He stumbled into it.
How? That's an interesting story. Let's hear it.
He may or may not have killed somebody, and that was his penance. So he ended up in the service of this lord, who this lord has been around for a minute. Hofer, and when he's not servicing his when he's not in service to his lord,
Okay.
he has found himself in a cult. He starts listening to the spirits around him.
His voice is in his head.
His voice is in his head.
All right.
And
Paranoid schizophrenic.
he can do seances. So he can basically, he's got this dark energy around him. And he uses that to harness basically the undead. The spirits, not really the undead, these spirits.
Does he talk to them and they tell him to do things, or is it like he's getting advice from them? Does he summon them?
So he asks them, and they tell him things. They tell him stories. He learns through this cult that he can do this stuff. And he can use a candle and a skull as his focus to do things. And he walks around and he's really scaring people, bringing people down.
How's the king feel about this?
Loves it.
Really?
Yes.
So he's not the jester anymore? He kind of...
Yes. So he kind of elevates him.
All right.
And he kind of makes him his personal, assistant almost.
Advisor.
Consultant.
Worm tongue.
Sure. But he makes him go around and find and listen to other people. Wants to know about what's going on in his land. This guy's been around. He can't hear everything at all the time. No. So now he's got his most trusted advisor to listen to the whispers around and create this network of basically
little birds.
Little birds, yes. Kind of like Varys, Lord Varys from Game of Thrones. Through his dark edgelordiness, he can go around and scare and intimidate and influence people.
Is he emo?
He's actually a hill dwarf. So he's actually he's got black, but his his beard is off to the one side. And it's black.
How old is he?
Oh my god.
Oh, you won't believe it. I'm glad you asked.
You'll never guess.
He's 67 years old.
Level 1?
Oh, he's wise. I mean, and by this time he's not level 1.
Yes, he is. This is a level 1 video. How to create your character concept.
Okay, so he's 23 years old.
Not very wise.
But he's going around influencing and basically ruling the land himself.
So how did he become an adventurer? He's stuck here in this town working for the king, and then what?
So he does this. He becomes very good at it, right?
Make sure the character you create is an adventurer, people, or at least get them there before session 1. So
he does this. He's very good at it.
Very good, because
he becomes too good.
He's not even too good. He's the merriest Sue of Mary Sue's.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but all right.
It's not important.
Nope. So he decides he's going to go off on his own. He's going to rule the lands and take over all of the realm.
Ooh.
To be nice to them, or did like you, everybody? I'm in charge.
No, he gets a big head about him. Big head.
That's a little head.
It's a little head.
A little tiny head.
He gets a bigger head than this. He gets a big head, and he decides he wants to go off on his own. Obviously, he understands that he can't do it all himself, so he gathers a party. And he creates his own little cult.
This is a problematic character.
Why?
Because you're assuming that the entire party is going to want to be okay with joining a cult with you as their leader.
I say we kill him.
You could do that. You could. But how
with a
would
knife.
you make the money and the riches?
They just steal it or buy it, or they buy money with money.
Maybe what he wants to do is he becomes, like, he thinks he's going to be this thing, right? But he ends up being part of a party.
So he's going to eventually get everybody in the party on his side to do his bidding.
This is actually great, and Rick helped you out majorly, because the other thing, we'll keep hammering this home too, you have to have a big want. Your character has to have a big want. That's a big want.
It's huge.
There.
That's huge.
He's like, I'm going to create my own cult, and I'm going to create my own people. I'm going to be the head of it, and that's great. In the meantime, you're traveling with this party of people that maybe you don't tell them this crazy idea just yet. So this is an occult bard.
Yes, very much.
What would he call himself? Does he think he's a bard?
Probably not.
What would he call himself if somebody said, "Hi, you're Hofer. What do you do? What are you?"
I'm an expert negotiator.
Okay, he's a negotiator.
Yes.
So not a bard. Doesn't think of himself as an entertainer, right?
No, he's not an entertainer. He was just made to be an entertainer.
So you're just using the bard mechanics to create this character that you want to maybe unleash upon the world.
Take over the world.
But you can play that kind of bard, the darker side of the happy-go-lucky entertainer that just wants to get laid all the time and get free food. This is a power-hungry, psychopathic, Machiavellian.
Let's tell us about you.
Let's tell us about me.
Let's tell us all about us.
Let's tell us about you, Kent.
My bard
Okay.
is actually something I have considered playing and creating for years, but it's just not at the top of my list yet, but maybe I'll get around to it. I have always wanted to create a skald, which is a Viking bard, basically. Ooh. So it's from these people that, maybe they're just, up in the Arctic or the tundra. They hard living. His name is Sven.
Of course it's Sven.
Well, Olaf was taken by that fucking snowman.
Why couldn't you just make him Victor?
Because it's Sven. That's how come.
Why don't you name him Helen? Helga.
That's the girl's name.
It's like a boy named Sue. How mean do you think Helga would have to be?
Exactly, but he's not. He's a big pussy. He's a coward. So, A skull, just again, is they were the people that in the cultures, the Viking cultures and stuff that kept their history alive through word of mouth, speaking. They didn't write much down. Sometimes they carved crap into stones, and they had little runes, and that tells a little story, cave drawing type things. But they just told the stories over and over of their people and their history. And they would also entertain. They always told these stories to the children, the new generations, to give them, and they'd make it exciting and it's an adventurous story. And then at festivals and stuff, they would get up and they were orators and they would tell these grand adventure stories, and they would, I'm sure they'd embellish, and that's a bard.
You gotta make the king look good, or whoever's running the place too.
You gotta kiss their ass.
Yeah, for sure.
And he probably sings. I don't think he's like like that Viking throat. Singing them, that's more like a drunk pirate. Big, he's a giantborn.
Oh,
or a Goliath in D&D or whatever. They all have that version. So he's a big, and he's big for a giantborn too. When they fight, again, he's afraid of everything, but nobody knows this. He was very good at inspiring his people and getting them to that point where you could get them to where we could fight and we're so tough, even though he doesn't believe it himself, but he could make them do it. One of those people. So anyway, blah blah blah. There's a fight, with other tribes or whatever, or other people from another nation, and with and they love it. They get in there at the battle and they're all berserk and crazy and barbarians and Vikings and all that stuff, and he's just pissing his pants, and they bit off more than they could chew, and the tribe is getting killed, and he runs away. He just runs away. Now, this is extremely shameful. So this leads to why he would join a party. It's a very simple concept. It'd just be fun to play because it's a bard that's not a bard, typical medieval bard.
He's on his own now. He's looking for
He's on his own, thing, and he feels such heavy shame that he ran away in danger, and maybe he could have saved the people in his tribe that he did really love, which is probably most of them, but he didn't because he's the biggest one. He's probably the strongest one. So yes, he's going to find these people. He's going to make amends. His tribe is gone, so there's no fixing that crap.
Oh, jeez.
But he's going to make amends, so he finds these adventurers for whatever set of circumstances you decide as a team, as a group. And now his arc is going to be overcoming that fucking fear that he always has to protect these people, to empower these people to do well and succeed and survive. But that's going to be slow. It's going to take him. That'd be a fun thing. So what his want is to be courageous. He's the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz. Where's my courage? But he doesn't have it right away. It's not going to happen instantly at level 1. As he levels up and gets stronger, he'll get more that way. Or not, depending on the way it goes. His bard magic is not going to be charm like Rick's bard. It's not going to be that kind of stuff. It's going to be more like boosting and baning. He can use that music that he's very powerful at singing, and he can give his team a boost. Typical bard, support. Battle support and all that, or he can
bardic inspiration.
He can intimidate. Yeah, bardic inspiration. He can intimidate the other. He can throw bane and stuff on the enemies, and they get intimidated. And so he's got to try to. He's faking it with his intimidation because he's not going to fight you because he can't. I would make him more of a thrown. He could throw maybe a throwing axe.
That's a good idea to stay away from the fight.
He's not going to go melee.
Yeah, he wants to stay away.
He probably got some shit. Why aren't you a warrior? Why aren't you a warrior? Well, because I'm such a good skald.
Well, there's still meat on the bone too for the tribe.
Yeah.
I mean, the GM could just use that and be like, maybe one person survived and's coming after you, or anything. Like you could there's so much to that group, and you can just use all that.
Because he didn't stay long enough to see that the whole tribe got decimated. They were losing, and he didn't want to be part of that.
Maybe he just left and the whole tribe actually won.
Yeah, maybe they
he
won.
Comes back and he's like, oh crap, I'm really embarrassed now. I'm a piece of crap.
Maybe they think he got carried away, or maybe they saw him run away. Maybe we don't know. That's up to the DM to decide what they want to play with that. But so I just think that'd be fun to play that kind of character, that kind of bard who's like a Viking but not a warrior, a skald. They're not those little foppy bards that play music in the tavern and try to get laid with the giggly bimbos. So you can specialize your magic as a bard too. Whatever bard you are trying to be, like yours is going to be all, like you said, the occulty stuff, right?
Dark and
the dissonant whispers and this kind of illusions. Maybe are you illusion?
Maybe a
or are
little
you
bit,
more
yeah.
illusion? You're more charm and
I'd be more charming and misdirection.
maybe a little illusion too, right? To
Mirror
entertain
image here and
more,
there, maybe
give
something to
yourself-
give myself a little.
And I would do, like I
Command
said,
person.
give people the heroism and enhance ability. Because he's a giant born, I would give him like enlarge, reduce, so he
There you
can
go.
shrink the enemy or make his allies bigger. Because that would be more of a giant thing than a bard thing for me if I was playing this character.
I could see Sven walking up to somebody and be like, how about you pick on somebody your own size? And he makes him like super small so that way he could beat him up because, he has a small
I
complex.
just said how huge he is.
Yeah, but he thinks he's small. He's not very brave, right?
No, but
He's
yes,
a
you're
small
right.
guy.
That'd be a funny joke now that they've all heard it.
God damn it.
Pick on somebody your own size. Woot.
I'll save it for
I
later.
appreciate the help, Brandon.
Yeah, that was real good, buddy.
Real good, buddy. Appreciate that's great. Keep up. There's no bad ideas, just bad people. We've talked in our other Bard video that nobody watched about being an artist, right, as well as an entertainer.
yeah.
So you could you be a painter or a sculptor, Bard? I think that no.
So Michelangelo wasn't a bard?
I would almost make that as an artificer. The people
like-
talk about the tattoo artist, Bard. My wife's a tattoo artist. I said, how would you be a Bard? And she's like, I don't know, fuck off. So, but again, put in the comments, and again, Rexroom, you will, but put in the comments different ideas for Bards that you've had, ideas that we didn't think of here. Again, this is probably the most wide umbrella of...
It is, and no one uses them that way either.
Bard. No.
No, they play the...
They're usually one of the bottom classes. No one really likes to
find
play
a
bards.
bard.
And I've never even played one in a game, I have to say, but I feel like I need to.
That's weird to me because you seem like your personality would be most suited to the Bard class.
I don't understand why I haven't.
I don't either. It's
I just
weird.
want to beat people with a sword, I guess.
Which you can. That's the thing with the Bard too. You can make especially in DC 20, probably in Pathfinder and D&D. Again, you got those. You can play a martial Bard that also does magic. It's a hybrid class, and you can be a very good fighter as a Bard, and that could be fun. That's again kind of what I'm doing in our DC 20 campaign. It's really fun. So the magic can enhance their fighting.
Right.
You know, they can make their fighting their combat a performance. But there you go. Like and subscribe and like. Any order you want. We don't have any rules here.
Please like and subscribe. Did that work?
For what?
How about you like and subscribe? Come on down. See what we have next door.
Next door? Why are you sending the competition?
No, like next door, like, what we have coming up.
When you're saying that you're standing out next door to your
Yeah,
store.
down the next door to the
Why don't you
left.
just do it in the store and then say, come down and see what we have in the store?
Come down and see what we have in the store. Don't forget to walk in the next door.
Bye!